Hi, my name is Alessandro, and I'm the founder of Guided Light Healing, and I want to welcome you guys back to episode 5 of our Relationships mini-series. I gotta say, I'm so blown away by all the improvements and all the excitement about last week's episode. If you guys haven't seen it yet, definitely jump back and check it out. I think my favorite comment that was overwhelming over the last week was, it can't be this simple, and how did I miss this? How did I get away from this? The biggest thing I want to say is we're conditioned by our belief systems, by the people in our lives that we should always put ourselves last. And making this small little change in our lives is going to lead to the biggest changes, which all of you have experienced last week. Getting back to sort of how the energy works in a relationship. We've been talking about this field that we are constantly projecting. All electricity creates this field, and in this field is that blueprint that shapes matter. Well, we started kind of giving away some tools and tips on how to start to shape this blueprint. And this is a really incredible tool I'm going to share with you guys this week. Think of your eyes sort of as this channel of energy. And it's almost like air. If we were to breathe out air into a straw, it's like our eyes are constantly shooting a substance, a fill into whatever it is that we're focusing on. With this idea and concept, and this is absolutely another scientific principle that I will give you tons of information on once we get to the Relationship Mastery series. But based on the time we have, I just want you guys to basically ingrain the idea that, okay, great, whatever I'm looking at, whatever I'm focusing on, it's putting more energy into something. And the more energy I put into something, what tends to happen with that? Right? Tough question, right? What actually starts to happen is the more energy we put into something, the bigger it becomes, right? So this is the concept and principle. I want you to start working into your relationships with all your interactions with people this week. Now, as people, what's our favorite thing to do in the world? We like to talk about how hard the world is out there. And yes, it is absolutely hard. The more conscious you are, the more the universe likes to give you obstacles to help you grow. And yes, we like to talk about how hard it is. But with today's concept and principle, if we're looking at what's hard in our life, we are basically sending more substance, more energy into that. And what's going to happen is we are increasing that field. And as that field increases, so is the draw of more matter, more energy, and everything else that starts to create more of that in our life. So how do we apply this principle and concept to our relationships? If we're constantly focusing on the stuff in our relationships that drives us crazy, we are essentially channeling more energy into that. We're sending more energy into the things we're focusing on. So things like my partner is always leaving their shoes in front of the door and I'm always tripping over it. And I'm always talking about it to my partner. I'm always yelling at my partner about it because I've told them 10,000 times and they should get it by now, right? And I've done all these things. I've taken all these steps. And basically what's happening here is we're missing the principle and concept that what we focus on has to become bigger. So how do we make this work to our advantage? I want to make my partner put away their shoes. How the heck do I do this? Well, we start to focus on the marginal little improvements with regard to this. Now, maybe typically our partner is leaving their shoes in front of the door 4 times a day, and today they only did it 3 times. Maybe because they only left the house 3 times, but for whatever the reason is, it is 1 time less than yesterday. And if we start to focus on the fact that, wow, the shoes were in front of the door 1 less time today, this is working. My partner is doing a great job. Most of you out there are going, absolutely not. I'm still gonna yell at my partner for this. Don't. Okay, remember, the principle is what we focus on, we are putting energy into, and that thing as a container, as an expansive container, is going to get bigger and it is going to draw more in of itself. So if we want to start to change the tide in relationships, if we want to start to change the things that make us crazy, we need to stop looking at them. We need to stop talking about them, and we need to stop focusing on them. And I know a lot of you out there are going to go, great, how is it going to change? It's going to change by overpowering those things with the things that are going really well. You guys have to see this to believe it. And all we need to do this week is start to focus on the things that are working well. the things that we would like to see more of. And you guys are in for an incredible ride this week. It is going to be so cool how just by focusing on the things you're really happy about, the tiny little wins, how your partner is going to start to change. Your kids could start to change. Your bosses, the co-workers, and all the other people, your friends and all the other people in your life who basically are a reflection of what you're focusing on. We can now start to change all of this. So I want you guys to decide right now, where is this best going to serve you this week? Where would you most like to see this start to work in your life? Do you want to apply this to a specific friendship? Is there a family member who is constantly focusing on the things that you don't like? Is it your partner who is driving you nuts? You're past that 6-month honeymoon phase and they're starting to make you nuts with the things that they're leaving out, the things that they're not picking up and not being proactive with and not thinking about you with. So I want you to decide right now. Take a few seconds, decide. All right, Alessandro, I'm going to use this here. Great. Figure out exactly where it is. And then what we're going to start to do is remember, catch yourself focusing on the things you want to make go away. If you're doing that, pull back and start to focus on the opposite. Focus on the wins. Focus on where things are starting to open up and work. And you guys are going to have some incredible stories for us at Guided Light Healing by the end of this week in between now and next episode. Next episode, we're going to share some even more new tools and tricks for you guys. But what we want you to do is we want you to have the same experience as you did with the prior episode. We want you guys to start to see how easy it is to shift the relationships into what you want just by changing your focus, just by changing where you're putting that energy into and redirecting it into the things that you actually want from your partners, that you actually want from your friends or family members. I know this is going to have a profound effect on your lives again, and I'm really, really excited to hear what you guys have to say about this. I want to thank you guys for following along up till this point. We are super busy in our lives typically, and it's really hard to make time for the things that we deserve for ourselves. But now talking about self-love, we're making more time for stuff like this, right? In all seriousness, I want to thank you guys for joining. This has been an awesome ride so far. Your testimonials and your experiences and your questions make this all fun and worth it. So with that being said, next week, I've got yet another great episode to share with you guys, some more tools and tricks, and you guys are absolutely going to love them. So thank you guys for joining today. My name is Alessandro. I'm the founder of Guided Light Healing, and I'll see you guys back next week for our next episode. Take care.